to a show.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Mats podcast. And today's guest is a returning guest, a good friend, an old friend, and we haven't talked in a while, and a lot has changed since we last chatted. So
a lot.
We're about to do some catching up here. So welcoming back to the podcast, our good friend, Mr. Joe Huggins. What's going on, Joe? How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. I always love doing this podcast, man. Just a chance for me to, say what's going on with my life, catch up with you, talk, nerd stuff, martial arts, all that good stuff.
Of course. I always tell people, podcast for me at least is like having a conversation with a friend and y'all get to listen in on it. So, and this is one of those examples right there where it's like, I'll have folks on and we're like legit talking, martial arts, we're talking whatever. And then, sometimes I have friends I was like, yeah, let's talk about this. It's like, yeah, but you know what? We got some Marvel stuff to talk about. I was going over there with DC and James Gunn. And it's like, is this just is this a phone call? Like, no, there's video. We're not showing you all the video, but there's video. We're doing this remote. So, but I'm glad you be here. I reached out a couple weeks back, and then you messaged me, and it kind of worked out at the same time because I was like, I think I messaged Joe, and I go, it's like, oh, I got a message, and it just all happened to be around the same time. Like, you replied to me, I replied to you. It was like, oh snap, I guess we both remember at the same time. Oh shit, like we messaged each other. So
it's funny. It could have been by accident because anybody who knows me and is friends with me on social media, my love language is spamming with just weird stuff or just anything I find interesting, on the internet. Like, hey, this person I think would relate to this reel or like this post, or like, hey, I'm gonna send this one because I thought it was funny. This guy's gonna think it's funny too, So I'm always, if I do that to you, I'm sorry. That's just how, I stay, somewhat connected with you. I just, share what I think you might like or what I find was funny. So
I do the same thing. I go through a questioning phase though, because I will sit I bomb Mark is someone I bomb with just.
Oh, him too. Yeah, dude. I bomb him all the time with stuff. I hope he listens to this and he knows exactly what I'm talking about, dude. I just send him stuff. Sometimes it'll be like days and he has like 20 unopened messages from me of stuff. I was just like, oh, this is funny. Let me see. This guy's gonna laugh at. Yeah.
Yeah. So I let him know recently. I messaged him. It's like, all right, it's catch up day. I'll sit down on a Sunday afternoon and just go through all the stuff he sent me during the week. And then later on, I'll see replies from him. He's like, oh, I guess he's doing the same thing. And it is basically Monday hits. I just send a bunch of stuff. And it's weird, random stuff. It's like beer can fighting, people making weird contraptions, and fighting beer cans with swords. I'm it's not even about whether he likes it or not. It's just look, I'm going to send this because you can, you'll probably understand. You won't judge me for probably sitting up at 3 a.m. watching this because that's what I do. But yeah, we share that in common, man. But as far as everything else has been going on with you, what's up? Let me know.
I guess the biggest thing, man, is that I'm a dad now. We're coming up on 6 months of me having a beautiful baby girl. Being a girl dad has been so much fun. Being a parent in general has just been a brand new journey. I got swept up in that wave. I blame Danny Mahoney. He had his kid and started whispering, around the gym, like, hey, just let it happen. Just come on, man, have one. And then next thing I know, everybody at 88's having kids, man. I think there's at least 5 or 6 kids that are all born within the same year at 88 right now.
Yeah, probably within the same 3 to 4 month span. It seems like
as soon as one person goes into labor, the next person's there, the next person, and then now we're all showing up to the cookouts and stuff with little ones on our hip.
Yeah, showing up, got strollers, car seats. It's but that's cool too because now you have that environment where the kids grow up together too. So
yeah.
It all works out. You got the parents that are friends, the kids are friends, and it's a growth thing, so that's cool. For you, as far as being a dad, though, what's just like, how's it feel for you? You know, just because myself being a girl dad, there's, well, especially later now, especially there's like these, you just start seeing these like little trends that little kids do. It's like, oh, you know, I remember I used to love this, and now, and now I'm like, huh, like how do we navigate this? But for you,
Yeah.
early on, right now, you know, what's going on with it? How's it feel?
It's definitely full of surprises and challenges. I don't think I've ever been, I want to say, you know, unsatisfied or, you know, unwilling to do it. I've loved being a dad every second of it. It's not always easy, especially, you know, with my job. I already work, you know, early mornings, late nights, still trying to train somehow. And now I got a kid that I'm responsible for. It's been cool. I get a lot of time with her. My partner, she is works in the school system. She's a counselor. And so, you know, 5 days a week, she's out the house by at least 8 a.m. and gone all day. And I have this type of flexible schedule where I'm a daytime dad. So, you know, during the day, it's me and her, you know, playing games, you know, watching, you know, some shows. I'm changing a lot of diapers, doing a lot of feeding. You know, it's kind of a true like 50-50 like parenting situation we have here. We're both, you know, pulling our weight.
Good, that's good. Yeah, that first year, like those early years, it's always neat because, you know, there's being new experiences for us and stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's great that, you know, you're not shying away from it. You know, it's like I know quite a few dads. I've known dads that are just like, nah, that I ain't changing no diapers. That shit ain't for me. And it's like,
You'd be surprised. I find out that, like, you know, it's almost sad to say, but like I do a lot for a male in a parenting, you know, relationship, which I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh wow, I thought everybody was doing this. You know, it's, you know, a new day. I feel like a lot more dads are involved, at least my generation, you know, with their kids. But, you know, some of the previous generations are like, you know, they've never been out in public with the kid, just them, or like they've never changed a diaper or, you know, fed the baby or done any of that. They've been always just kind of, you know, there, here and there a bit, you know, whereas I'm a lot more hands-on with just her care and everything.
you know, when Sophie was little, my wife, she's a nanny. Well, she was a nanny at the time, and she had the opportunity to take Sophie with her to work. And for me, I had a weird schedule where I worked evenings. I was like, well, you know, I'm happy to take the kid during the day. Let's go to the park. I mean, she's still little, so going to the park was really like, let's go get some fresh air, sit out.
I remember you bringing her to jiu-jitsu in the morning times, you know? Yeah.
It's like, hey, come on, like run around on the mats. Like, we'll wash you off. Like, it's cool. But, you know, those things, I think, like you mentioned, though, your generation, just, I think newer, like these days, you know, younger folks especially, you know, have more of a willingness to, you know, share in those responsibilities. But also, too, I think it's just cool, like, for parents in general, but especially dads that want to interact with their kids and really be that influence. Because I know me, I'm a kid of the, you know, 80s more so, and like kind of early 90s, and that type of relationship just wasn't there with the dads and the kids. It was more like, you know, that, and I get it during those times too. Dads are like,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go make this money real quick. I'm gonna come home, eat this dinner, go to bed, and maybe on the weekend we might throw the baseball around a little bit.
Yeah.
But
And I also feel like that's the generation that, you know, they worked the job because they had to work a job to provide the family. Whereas now, at least, you know, I can't speak for everybody myself. You know, I follow my passion. I'm a full-time, you know, coach. I love the flexibility. I love the subject matter that I teach in. I love the people I interact with. Like, I love my job. It's not a chore to me. And so I feel like when I come home, I bring that energy home. Like, I love, you know, seeing my kid and, you know, being able to be around her and all the little things. The way her face lights up when I walk into the room is amazing, bro. I can't trade that for anything.
Yeah, that used to always be so cool, especially once like Sophie got to a certain age, and I come home and she come running to me. I was like, or and she just like come crawling real fast. I'm like, oh, dude, that is such a great feeling, dude. Like I don't know. Like I know at a certain point she kept saying, "Can I want a sibling?" I was like, "Well, hey, relax. The factory's closed. We got you with all 10 toes, all 10 fingers, both eyes. Let's not risk it. I don't know. Like, and what happens if you don't like the other one? Like, what if I have another one and suddenly you don't like this
one? Can't take it back.
Yeah, no take backs. But it's still. Still look back on those moments. It's like, damn, dude. Like I do, and even when I do pull up home from work, she's outside playing with the kids when I'm pulling up. But she comes running over to the van, like, "Hey, Dad." I'm like, "Hey, Goon." I call her Goon.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What's up, Goon?" Like, what are you doing? Nothing. We're just, I don't even like. They roll around on their scooters now and ride on their bikes, and I think she's been sitting out in the shade playing with Barbies with one of the girls. So it's like. Cool. Like there's a balance for her, so
yeah,
it's good. And I know you said you're still trying to find that time to get in training, with opportunities that present itself, because just being a dad, working, and then trying to train, there's a lot. That you want.
A lot of moving parts, and I'm like, sometimes I gotta remember to just stop and breathe for a second. Remember that. Aside from, her, nothing else is life or death. So, I can kind of get my priorities, in order. Whereas, like, at the end of the day, as long as she's good, my family's good, we're all good, then that's number one. Everything else will fall in line after that.
Good. I think that's a good attitude to have, too, because there are times where I think we get heavy on one side or the other, right? It's either give all and now you're not saving for yourself, or you're taking all, you're not giving anything back to the family. So having that balance is so important. It sounds like you've got it good hold of it early on, especially.
I'm doing my best. I'm definitely not perfect at it. It's like I said, just the overall experience. It's from day one when I found out we were pregnant, it was just been a roller coaster. Like back in late August, I'm getting ready for a fight. I'm in my second fight camp for that year. It's not going well. I'm just, going through everything. It's been a rough camp. A week before the fight, my opponent breaks his nose and pulls out. So in order to save the fight, they rush and find me another opponent, turn it from an MMA fight where I've been training this whole camp. Wall work, cage work, grappling. Now it's a kickboxing fight. So I'm like, well, all right. Then moving further in that week, the coach or the main coach I was working with at 88 gets fired because, life happens, stuff happens. I won't get too deep into that. But so now, like, I got to change in, like, my corner and my coaching and, all the coaches are great, but, you've been working with a specific person or a group of people for amount of time, and then it just changed at the last second. And so I remember I'm at home venting, like, this is just, nothing's going right. Like, this is all, like, I just don't feel good about this. And then Rachel comes in and she's like, well, I got one more thing for you, and brings in the pregnancy test. And it's, what's that, the Clear Blue or whatever. So I know it's like, it's legit. Like, it's not fake. So it's not like a false positive or anything. So I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. So
stuff goes on in that moment.
Yeah. So I shelved that for like 2 seconds. I go through with the fight, lost a close split decision. It is what it is. And then I go into prep mode right after that. We're going through the holidays. People are helping us get the baby room ready. I have a 2-bedroom, and we finally, I've always had a roommate. Now we have the whole house to ourselves. So it's, me and her, and we got the, extra room getting set up for the baby and everything. And we're moving along. These are going great. And then February 1st, on Rachel's birthday, her mother dies. Like 3 months before the baby's due. So, we get a call at 3 a.m. Hey, your mom's in the hospital. She went in for the flu. Ended up being something else. Her lungs filled. And by the time we got to the hospital, she was gone. So now I have, we're going into our 3rd trimester, dealing with, grieving, planning a funeral, planning baby showers, life, I'm still like trying to, make sure I'm making enough money to bring into the house. It's just crazy. So then we keep going, keep chugging along. We're doing our best. We have lots of great support from not only, people at the gyms, both sides of our family. My family back in Chicago was really helpful. All her family gathered around and stepped up because, losing your mother or a parent is a big deal, to begin with. But to do that when you're bringing your first child into the world and you're like, 8 months in, it's a shell shock. And me just being on one end of it, I can't even begin to even try to understand where she's at, where her head is at. But I'm just, doing my best to support. And I might not be the best because, like I said, I can't understand that. Like, I've never lost a parent on my birthday while I'm pregnant, like.
So I would imagine, you being pregnant would be a real shocker.
Yeah, so it's just some type of feeling I can't truly I can only do my best to support, and so we go forward, and I come home from work one day. I think we were originally due April 30th. It's April 9th or 10th, and I come home from work. We're chilling, watching TV, put on some South Park. She gets up to go grab something out the kitchen, and her water breaks all over the floor. So we got to drive to Baltimore, hit all the potholes. She's yelling at me. We get to the hospital. We're in labor for like 36 hours. Then it gets scary. She is not dilating. The baby's ready to come out. She ends up losing like a liter of blood. They almost have to do like a blood transfusion. So the baby comes out and they're like still trying to save Rachel's life, and they just throw this little blob in my arms and like, hey, here you go. Like, we're doing something. So I was the first, like, skin to skin contact and, with the baby. And so I feel like that's one reason I'm so close with her and why we have that kind of bond is that this whole process has been traumatic before she even got here. So she's a little, light in all kind of the darkness that came with it. After that point, Rachel's fine, she's doing better, but, there's still the postpartum and the grief on top of that and then just the newborn trenches, not only are we like, we're not sleeping, we got this crying baby all the time, we're both on edge, her hormones and emotions and everything are all over the place, and I'm just like hanging on by a thread, like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, what is life right now, But we've been making it, slowly but surely. Things aren't perfect, but we've been chugging along. And as far as her being here and her being in our lives, like it's been great. Just seeing her grow, figure out things for the first time, watching like, oh wow, I guess when you don't actually know how to like grab this or know how to eat and breathe at the same time, or you got these are learned habits I've never thought of, like So we've made her a part of our lives. Like, we didn't slow down life. We both still are working, but we also find time to enjoy ourselves. And I feel like that's important with everything that happens. So like, we take her with us to all the family events. We go out with friends. She's with us. She's very well like socialized. I take her to the gym with me all the time. Whether it's the gym that I work at or at Crazy 88. We share everything with her to like, she picks up on our taste in music to where there's certain artists and certain songs that like she really perks up to and likes, different TV shows or just, the sound of her voice. Right now, like I said, she's in that let me scoot across the floor and roll over and fall off of things phase. It's good seeing her emotions and her face, and just, it's really cool, like just watching a life grow and know that, I helped make that. I did that right there, and it's been a roller coaster, but we're at the fun part of the ride right now.
It's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be fun. As parents, our approach to things is what makes the difference on, how they take it, and just the fun factor, right? Watching them grow, watching them learn, watching them, just build their own personality.
Right.
That's such a wild thing.
Like she's a little goofball, and she knows it too. Like,
yeah, yeah. I remember when Sophie started making like little jokes.
Yeah,
it was like, in for her, they're hilarious. For us, there's a different logic there. So it's like, it's funny because it's like you see her laughing at it so hard. It's like, doesn't really make sense, but I'm glad you're enjoying it, and that shit's funny for you, so it's funny for us. But it's cool seeing those. Like that's your personality. That's who you want to be. You want to be the goofball. Do that. Be the goofball. Have fun, because that's what life is. Just fun. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
But I am sorry. For your family's loss in all of this as well, because that's definitely got to be tough, a lot to deal with. So
yeah, especially for all like the first moments. Rachel and her mom were like really close, and they're the type of mother-daughter who like would talk on the phone for hours a day. And now it's like, oh, the baby did this. Hey, let me call. Oh, we can't. Tell her we can't. She's not gonna see the pictures. She's not gonna get the excited. Holiday season's coming up, and it's not gonna be there. So it's still tough to navigate some days.
Yeah, it's got to be tough, but it sounds like you all have a good support system around you all, and you, Rachel, sound like great parents and balance each other well. So in those times that are going to be tough, I'm sure you all manage through it with love. So that's good, man.
Yeah.
Like that y'all are together and there for each other, and just as you move forward, as you grow, the adventures are
we're in the beginning. We got years to go.
I think Sophie, I don't know what she did. I think I was working out the other day. I'm down here in the basement, running on the treadmill. So I don't know. I don't hear any of the stuff upstairs. So I come, I finish up and I hear the girls upstairs, and Sophie's kind of whimpering. I was like, huh. Okay. And then she fell off her scooter or something. She's been doing tricks on her scooter, and she fell off and scraped her knee up, and she's screaming bloody murder still after the fact. And it's like, as a dad, is like, you don't want to see your kid upset and hurt and everything, but also too, it's like, hey, so are you able to walk? Yeah, okay. Like, did you like, and you're like, what's going on? Like is there like bone damage? Like anything broken? No. All right, well, come on, let's go back outside and play. Like, what we doing? And she's like, I thought I saw the bone. I promise you, you did.
You're fine. If you saw the bone, then I'm freaking out.
Trust me. It's like I'm a little squeamish. So if it cut through to the bone, then yeah, like I'm crying with you. But but it didn't. So let's get on back up. Go outside and play. Throw some bandages on that joint and run out and play. Right. And that like. Those are the adventures along the way. Is the first, like I told Sarah, I was like, I think one of the things that we ran into is like Sophie's homeschooled. So he doesn't run into a lot of the things that the other kids run into. And so when she has those first experiences, like someone bullying her, like in the neighborhood, it's different than if it's in the school. So it's like trying to explain to her like how to handle those situations. I was like,
that's rough. Like, so I don't know if you remember, I was homeschooled as well, 1st through 8th grade. And it's a huge learning curve, like obviously, I had kids I interacted with in the neighborhood, but full exposure to just the world and how people can be, I didn't get that till my freshman year of high school, and it was a shell shock. So
yeah. And she's in several like homeschool groups where they do activities together and stuff. And she has her friends there, and it's really cool. But there's just something different because once you're in that school system, it's different.
It's like you go from the zoo back into the wild.
Because like the homeschool kids in the groups, they're super nice. They're very sweet. The families are really nice, and there's this culture there where everyone's like, it's not everyone gets along in that sense of it's a perfect world. You have your disagreements, but they work through it,
Right.
like in a managed way. It's like you're in school though. It's like, hey man, like I don't like your shoes. Like what? Like your shoes is dumb. Like why are my shoes dumb? Because that's what you would say. It's like, why are my shoes dumb? And
Man, I walked into school one day with some FUBU boots on, bro. I never heard the end of it. They ate me alive.
man, I used to, we used to get our shoes. The Kmart brand, Pro Wings.
Yep.
Man, that was from third grade through fifth. I think I was in Flint from third to fifth grade. Oh my God, it was just nonstop. That's part of why my temper became what it is. I was just fighting every day. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't not like.
You don't know me, my life. My mom would get our shoes from Payless, and I had a pair of Shacks, and I thought I was the man until I found out those weren't cool, and I'm like, ow, you guys are mean.
Somebody I got a hand-me-down pair of Matumbos.
Yeah.
And I was feeling myself. I was like, yeah, son. And they're like, you got on Matumbos? The fuck is wrong with you?
Get out of here, bro.
I was like what? Wait, what's wrong with Matumbos? These shits is tight.
People love Matumbo. No.
Yeah, it was like, I got defense. It was like, nah, man.
Nah, bro.
And that was what? I want to say that was freshman year of high school. So that was by the time I was here in Maryland. So it just followed me all the way. But I think, as parents, I think that's a neat thing here, though. We've had those experiences. And I guess when we're kids, our parents probably saw the same thing. It's like, we've had these experiences, we've gone through this. So we're going to try to guide you. Us as kids, at least for me, it's like, nah, I got this. Like, you can't tell me nothing.
Right.
And now I see that with my kid. It's like, look, I've been where you're at.
Let me help you. I can guide you through.
Yeah, please take my knowledge. And my kid's just like, nah. You're like, get out of here, Dad. It's like, I used to be the cool dad. Now I'm like now I'm not cool to you anymore. So, but hey, we do what we can, and like you said, this is the beginning of the journey. The adventures are just gonna, continue on, and I'm happy for you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It's been great.
Yeah, good. As far as training and everything goes, and then just gym life, how's that been going for you? On the mats, in the cage, and just training folks in general for work. What's up there for you?
It's been cool, man. Training wise for myself personally, I've been lucky enough to where, Rachel understands, jujitsu really saved my life. Martial arts is my passion. It's a part of who I am. That's never going to change. And so I'm able to get to the gym, 2 or 3 days a week, at least 1 day a week. It's like if I can get on the mats at least 1 or 2 times a week, then I feel, I get some mental, relief from that. Work wise, I'm always in the gym. I work between 2 gyms, Mayweather, boxing, and Bowie. I'm the head trainer there. So, I'm in charge of, the instructors and scheduling and, programming and things like that. And that's really fun because, again, boxing was the first, martial art or sport that I ever started out with. And it's something that, I've always been drawn to, and I get to share that with other people. Now, like I said, we're not creating fighters, but I'm helping people get in shape, and I'm still teaching them how to box. I've gotten really good on the mitts, so we do a lot of mitt work and pad work, whether in group or one-on-one settings, just, getting people's basics and fundamentals down. And then I also do functional training here in Annapolis. That's more like, just regular strength and conditioning. Nothing really, it's not like, athletic performance, but it's for the, everyday person. You want to do something, more athletic with your life, but you don't like the Gold's Gym or Planet Fitness because there's no structure. You don't really know what you're doing. I'm there to, guide you through. I'm going to show you the lifts, or critique your form, or help you do it properly. And we alternate. So we're not just doing purely strength. We're doing cardio, agility, things like that. So I've built my schedule around my parenting, but it takes up a lot of my time. So I'm always in a gym somewhere throughout the day. I'm always in that environment.
Yeah, I always think about that with you when I look at your Instagram stories. It's like, oh, this dude is steadily in the gym, and if not in the gym, on some nerd culture type shit.
Yep.
It's like I'll either see you at the gym or watching some sort of anime, some sort of comic book show, some kind of Star Wars stuff. I'm like, yeah, like
there's actually so much out right now that I've gotten behind.
Yeah.
I finally watched Superman because I don't go to the theaters anymore. I just wait for it to all come on streaming. So I'm still waiting on Fantastic Four to drop. I haven't checked that out yet. But Superman, I didn't mind it. I think I am partial to the what's his face? I'm blanking on his name. Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Superman. I think he was a really good Superman. I like the Snyderverse before it got ruined. But I don't nothing to take away from James Gunn. I think he's doing great. Suicide Squad, Peacemaker season 1, Creature Commandos, those are all really good. I got to catch up on Peacemaker season 2. Gen V, the second season is out. I'm getting ready for The Boys, all that stuff.
Yeah.
What else is out right now? Ironheart, I still got to catch up on that. I'm kind of Marvel. I'm probably the most behind on. Eyes of Wakanda was good. I really like that. When I do get on the video game, I've been playing Marvel Rivals nonstop. I really, like that.
Yeah, I hear good stuff about Rivals. I haven't played yet, but that's all.
So on my, on my dad days, I slowly catch up on, all my stuff, and try to do it when I'm not, out the house or anything.
Yeah. I tried to watch Superman last week, and it's not that I didn't like it. I wasn't prepared, so I didn't know what I was going into. So as I'm watching, I was like, I feel like I just got dropped into the middle of a story.
Yeah.
And
it does feel like that. There's not a lot of origin. It's not really an origin story.
Yeah, and for Superman, we know the origin, so we don't necessarily need the origin. So I was enjoying what I saw. I think what I've been doing lately is I watch stuff while I'm on the treadmill because I don't have a choice. I have to pay attention because if I'm just sitting on the couch, I'm on my phone, I'm on the computer, I'm on a tablet, I'm not focused, I'm missing the story. But if I'm on the treadmill, I don't have any other option other than to watch what's in front of me and learn what's going on. Ironheart, when you get to it, it's actually a pleasant surprise. It leads to other stuff.
I know, the downside to me waiting so long to watch stuff is stuff gets spoiled. So I just know that stuff. So I know Mephisto shows up, and I think he's supposed to be in the Avengers Doomsday. Dr. Doom is supposed to have a whole league of villains or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the rumor with that. Although Marvel did say they were going to start separating the two. The TV shows will obviously be in the same world as the movies, but
they're not going to rely on each other as much.
Yeah, because I think going out of Phase 4 after Infinity or Endgame, it became this, hey, I have to watch WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier to understand the next movie that's coming out, and it's not fair because we don't know that. It's so much, and then also too, it's like sometimes you just want the movie.
Yeah,
you don't need the shows, and some folks just want the shows, don't need the movies. But I will say with Fantastic Four, I went to Fantastic Four because I didn't want to get spoiled on any post credits, which I could have saved my time It was a good movie. It was really good, but I didn't need to go. I didn't need to go and skip any spoilers because there's really no spoilers.
Yeah.
Like you watch the movie and it's just like it's a good movie. It's really really fucking good. But there's nothing where it's like you walk. I was like, haha, like I'm ahead of people now. It's just
Right.
like, huh, okay, that was good. I I saw it twice because I saw it on my own, and then my guys from work they wanted to go. One of the
Yeah.
guys, but I was like, "Oh, I'll take you." And then we went to see it, and I was like, "Huh, that was actually better the second time too. I like this." But there's a lot to just like I always say. There's just too much content now
Yeah.
between James Gunn's DC universe, which like I saw Suicide Squad, I loved it. I started watching the first season of Peacemaker, and I enjoyed it, but I just got wrapped up in other stuff.
John Cena's funny. He really makes it. Like, I don't think they could have gotten anybody else to do it.
Yeah, I mean, like there's some actors that just they are like they put them there. No one else could do it. I mean,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, Henry Cavill as Superman. It's like he's Superman.
Yeah.
And I know people are like, no, Christopher
But
Reeve.
you know, I'm cool with him being Wolverine if you know that happens. Like we got the little thing in Deadpool and Wolverine. So
I think they said they're actually doing an action figure for that, the Cavill ring.
nice.
I was like, look, I'm supposed to be done collecting in January, but if they make the Cavill ring, I'll add them to the collection, dude. Like,
Yeah.
why not? But yeah, there's just too much content. I think we just watched the recent episode of Gen V, and it's fun. Like the boys and all of that, it's weird because it's like you watch the episodes and it doesn't feel hokey.
No.
It's very, very much like real world, like kind of like, oh, this feels like, oh, there's gravity to this.
Like real power corrupts. If people had superpowers, you really no, everybody would be an asshole. Like
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want. Get the fuck out of here. Hell yeah.
I be thinking that when I'm driving, somebody cuts me off. I'm just like, man.
Okay, that's not just me. Like sometimes I wish I had like telekinesis and I could just like flick that car off the road. Like
Yep, like in what was it, Chronicle with
yeah, actually I think about that all the time. I was like, bro, I would totally just spin that person off the highway.
It's like, come on, man, don't be a dick. Like I was out in Annapolis the other day, over by the hospital, and 3 cars, clear as day, ran the red light. Like the first one, sure. The next 2, that light, like my light was.
It was red for a while.
Yeah, and these 2 cars just came following through. I was like, man, if I had any kind of telekinesis, those, like I'd probably
like a crack compactor.
Yeah, it's like y'all gotta go. Like I probably like just like looking back on, I probably just pick the cars up and put them back at the red light.
Yeah, all right. Maybe not ruin anybody's day or in their life, but just do a little rewind. They're like, nope, stay put.
Now that's me after thinking about it. In the moment, I would have thrown those cars.
That's just I feel like you and I are similar. That like we get very like emotional or in the heat of the moment. Your first thought is like, yo, I got to do this right now. Like.
It's like it's on, and then it's like when you think it was like, I guess we can handle that different, right? Like, do we need to throw it to Edgewater? Nah, probably not. But here we are. But yeah, like the nerd culture stuff. It's getting to a point where, like I said, there's so much content, it's hard to keep up. And it used to be a point where people used to choose sides, like, oh, I like DC, I like Marvel, I like this, I like that, and I try to play in the pool of just enjoy it all. But now there's so much, you kind of have to pick sides because it's like, why is there this much stuff? I'm tired.
I am a fan of like the more like I said, like the boys, or the more like lesser known comics, or the more independent guys that aren't under the Marvel or DC banner. I feel like that's a better draw because like a lot of the Marvel and DC, we know the stories. We know Batman. We know Spider-Man. We know Superman. Like, you can't retell the same story, 5 times. But I think they realize that, and they're starting to branch out a little bit and do some other characters and everything. I think I saw a post the other day. I mean, there's just so much out there. Like if you sat down and tried to read every single Marvel comic book, what did it say, like a year and a half or something to get through all, or maybe more than that? Like
yeah, someone just sent it to me this morning. I think it's like you'd have to do 8-hour shifts every single day. I think it's like 1,000 days or something. Like
Yeah.
it's like 1,100 days or something.
And that's if you read fast. Like I'm a slow reader. Like sometimes I gotta it takes
Like I was trying to read yesterday. Right now with comic books, I still pick up Marvel books and DC books,
Yeah.
just selectively. But I've
You
been
need the
buying
app.
a lot of.
I just pay my money for the app and I read it on the phone.
So I'm a collector in that
Yeah.
value sense too. So it's like I pick them up. I need to get back to the app because I'm out of room down here. It's starting to get to a point where I need help. But I've been picking up a lot of indie books, a lot of horror comics specifically.
Okay.
So there's one book called Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, and it's a bear. Actually, I realize now too, a lot of my comics are anamorphic, like basically animals as people. I don't know how to say the fucking word, but because it's this bear who is essentially Dexter.
Okay.
Like just killing
kills bad people.
I don't even know if they're bad people. I think they're just killing. Like
just cause.
Yeah, but like they do like the whole cut up and everything, and it's interesting. And then I read this other book called Stray Dogs, which was described as Silence of the Lambs meets, I can't remember what other thing it compared it to, but it was wild. And then this other book called Feral, which is basically cats, but it's The Walking Dead.
Okay. That actually sounds pretty cool. Yeah, you do have like a whole like animal theme there.
Yeah, I mean it's unintentional. It's just like I see a book, I'm like, that looks interesting, let's read it. And then I was sitting there the other day reading Beneath the Trees. I was like, yo, what is wrong with me? Like, why is all my comic books animal themed now? But I pick up. I think Marvel is doing the Ultimate Universe stuff again. So I've been picking up Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimates, and I was reading Ultimate Black Panther, but I sometimes feel like I don't like the way that they write Black Panther, and I'm like, I don't want to do the story right now, dude. I think I'm going to try to get back into the Ultimate Black Panther because the story is supposed to interconnect everything, and you need the Wakanda story to really kind of get it all. But most of the stuff I've been trying to do is just indie stuff because I just feel like there's not like a lot of Marvel stuff is advertisement for the movies now.
Yeah.
DC, there's too many. Like there was a new Batman #1 recently, while they're still running the other Batman. In another universe though, and then they have Absolute Batman, and
it's just Warner Brothers and Disney trying to compete with each other.
Yeah, it's like and these books ain't cheap.
Yeah,
$5 a pop. So it's like, let me just go read my animal stuff and be all right with life because I can't.
Speaking of horror, I've watched. I did stay up with Alien Earth, which I really like. The concept where it's in the future, and I don't know. Have you seen it?
No, actually, what's funny is my buddy. So for my horror podcast, he did a bonus episode where he talked about the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
and then he just sent me a recording of him and another friend doing a full hour episode talk about the whole series. So I was like, and that's actually coming out this Friday. So
I'm also listening. I really enjoyed it. It's a prequel set before the first Ridley Scott movie. But yeah, it's the world is run by 5 corporations that bought up everything, and it's like, wow, we're really headed in this direction. There's no more governments. It's just which company owns which part of the world. And you go into that. Let's see what else horror wise. I've Sinners and the Jordan Peele movies. I know he has a new one coming out with Marlon Wayans.
Apparently, he produced that. He didn't direct it.
Okay.
Because I guess the reviews were out on it, and people are like, "Oh my god, this movie's not good." I'm like, "Okay, well," and they're like, "Well, to be fair, Jordan Peele didn't direct it. It was like, okay, well, I'm gonna still see it because you know, it like like the concept seems very, very interesting, especially for today's world with athletes and all this. But you said you saw that one though, or you're going?
No, I didn't. It's on my list.
Same. Yeah, we watched Sinners. My wife and I'd heard a lot about it beforehand, and I wish I hadn't.
Yeah,
because I love the way that it's played out, where you're watching one movie and it's like, oh, it's a period piece.
I avoided spoilers so hard because I really wanted to see it. I'm a Michael B. Jordan fan and Ryan Coogler fan, like overall.
Yeah.
And so that was one, like, I avoided all the spoilers as best I could. Obviously, some crept through, but it was a good, like, fresh experience.
Yeah, I wish I just didn't know that it was going to become because I think before it even released, there were whispers talking about saying, like, yo, this movie coming out, Ryan Coogler, Sinners, it's such a good movie. You guys are going to be blown away. And, these initial takes were like, we don't want to say anything. We don't want to spoil anything. And because I have the horror account and I have to, I'm always posting horror stuff, I brush up against these things. And, I see the advertisement for Sinners, and somebody posted basically, oh my goodness, Sinners is so good. And then they like just give the big reveal away. And it's like, come on,
right.
Like, but the movie was done so well that even with that knowledge, watching it, you forget because the beginning is so good. That first half is so good. And then when the actual vampire stuff happens, it's like, oh, I forgot about this. Like this is good. So
just the casting and the movie itself resonated with me because my grandmother was one of those who migrated from Mississippi to Chicago when she was really young. That's how my family ended up there. And she always used to tell me the same thing. She's like, wasn't much difference except for the skyscrapers. Like, the same attitude and stuff you got in the South, but you got it up north. They just hit it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. I love vampire and zombie movies. I love that kind of lore when it comes to like horror. I'm not really a slasher killer, type, but I mess around with like, the demon possession, like, Conjuring, Paranormal Activity. When, I'm not too much of a little sissy. I'll say through some of those, but I love zombies and vampires. Like I could, watch anything based off those.
Zombie movies are... I didn't realize I love zombie movies so much until like the recent years. I think a big help to that was reading The Walking Dead. I didn't really care for the show, but I love the comic.
Yeah.
And I think from that point, I've just been hooked on zombie. And maybe with The Walking Dead comic, it wasn't so much about the zombies as much as it was like the world, what happens to the world after an event like this. But I didn't know you were like in on like vampires and zombies. Like, we might got to get you on a horror podcast.
All right. I'm behind on Marvel Zombies and what's the other one? 28 Years Later. I gotta check that out.
Okay, So with our horror pod, we tend to have a schedule, but we made a point to change the schedule to do 28 Years Later and then Sinners.
Okay.
Both of those movies were like, we can push these other episodes forward, and we're gonna sit down and do Sinners. My wife and I sat down and watched Sinners and talked about, because she went in, she started doing homework, like getting details. I was like, yo,
dude, relax, I love it.
Don't overshadow me on my show.
I follow Screen Crush. I watch all their breakdowns of everything. So after I watch an episode or whatever, I go straight to Screen Crush on YouTube and I watch their breakdown and try and get on. I don't know if you're familiar with them as well, but I love their channel.
There's a young lady who has I found her on TikTok initially, and she does more stuff there than anywhere else, which I just haven't been on TikTok in a while because it gets overwhelming on TikTok sometimes for me. But when she does pop up on Instagram, she'll have a post. But she started a podcast, and her breakdowns of movies are so good. Like I've been actually calling it out on my pod lately
Yeah.
because as I start my pod, I'm like, look, if you want a breakdown of this movie, go listen to Sydney on Hello Sydney podcast because I'm not the one. I'm just here to talk about what I like about the movie and the themes. I'm not gonna. So I've had some guests come on who are like, yeah, let's do this. Let's talk about this, and then they want to basically kind of dictate the whole movie to the listeners. I'm like, I don't have time like that. We've got an hour, maybe 90 minutes. I had one guy, he wanted to do this shit and it took him 2.5 hours. I was like, I can't put out episodes that long, dude. But
you gotta keep the people interested. Like anything more than an hour, yeah, I'm probably gonna get, my ADHD is bad.
It's like if it's gonna be more than an hour, I have to be on car rides. I have to be like, I drive a lot, so that does help. But if I'm at home, like you might get 45. I say that, but then when we do our beer review show, we purposely do it for 3 hours because it's a happy hour podcast, so we're just drinking.
Yeah.
And then
My buddy Eli told me about that. I got some stuff coming up, so I'm doing a bit of a weight cut, but I'd love to come through for that.
Absolutely, dude. Eli came on. Actually, the last 2 weeks he was on, and it's a hang. It's fun. We sit around, we talk sports. Like a lot of times, it's like we're scheduled to talk sports, but we end up just talking shit. We just talk about pop culture and things going on in the world, and we're reviewing beer. So my buddy brings a beer, we split the beer, and we give our viewpoint on it. But yeah, once you're out of camp, like let me know. We've been trying to get Mark on.
Yeah,
Jeremy came on once, so it's like we have fun. Actually, Jeremy's episode of Off the Mats was more Colompton than his episode of Colompton was. On Colompton, he was on Off the Mats, I was like, hey, we might have to send this to another podcast. But no, everyone's always welcome on the pod, and we have fun with it. But yeah, especially with horror, definitely want to get you over there and let's chat it up on some different topics, and go from there. But back here.
Bring it back.
Okay, all right. I started getting excited. It was like talking nerd stuff. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Oh, okay, let's bring it back. As far as fight camp and everything, especially with life changes and becoming a dad, how's that like kind of taking a toll as far as like your sleep?
I don't know yet. I'm still at the beginning. I've gotten used to the no sleep. I know as an athlete, I need my 7 to 8 hours, but I normally function off 4 or 5, and I've just gotten used to it. It is what it is. People are always like, how do you work? I'm like, bro, I got to do what I got to do. And if that means I got to sacrifice some sleep, I can give you all the quotes. Sleep is desired, not required. Sleep is for, billionaires. You can make it happen.
Yeah. Recently the sleep thing has become, I guess, it's come to my attention because I was the same way. 4 hours, I can easily function on 4 hours and make the day and never have an issue. And then I turned 47 this year, and it just feels like that switch hit. And it was like, oh, I'm still doing 4 to 5, but I'm feeling it now. Whereas before, I had no issues, no effect. On the weekends, I tend to get about 7.
Yeah, and I'm a napper too, so if I get some downtime, like I'm usually using that to sleep in the middle of the day. I'll catch a 45-minute, hour-long nap here and there throughout the day to kind of offset that.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I think I can't nap. If I nap, I am not going to sleep at night. So even if it's 20 minutes, I'm up the rest of the night, and that's going to be real problematic the next day because they're like, oh, like, did you sleep last night? So no, that's because I slept for 20 minutes yesterday. Like that math doesn't work. It's like you're right, it doesn't, and I can't explain it. My doctors have been giving me shit about it too. But at least you're getting something. Like you're making it work on your end. Yeah. Where you can. So good. And being at the beginning of new camp. do you all have the date and everything for the upcoming
So yeah,
fight?
it's nothing crazy. As you know, you've probably seen him. My buddy Brandon Thor, he's back coaching striking at Severna Park, and you know Thor, he was coaching back when it was Ivy League on my very first day. So we're close. We've been together for years. He probably knows me better than I know myself when it comes to my fighting style, and I feel very comfortable with him, and I feel like myself. No knock against any other coach or anybody that I've worked with. It's just that you always have that coach who like you really resonate with, and he gets me. Every day I show up and he's like, hey, for your style, I feel like you need to do this, and this is very, for you. You need to do this, and that, and he's my number one supporter. He's like, man, I want to get you back to prime Huggy, back when Huggy was kicking ass and taking names. And, I still do well for myself, but I was on a good tear for a while. And he just wants to, before it's too late, see me get some sort of resemblance of that back in my game. So we have the WKA scrimmage at 88 coming up. I've been out for years and I'm about to start ramping up my training. So that's a good way to get my feet wet, trying to figure out what my sleep, what my training schedule is going to be like, where I'm going to be, how I'm going to make it work. This is a good, I guess, test. It's not a big deal. It's a scrimmage. It's just like the smoker fights we used to put on, probably just a little bit more official. And like I said, it's going to force me to have to work on my striking and work on the little things, because it's not just the sheer brute force of Huggy. As I've gotten older, I've realized I need to be more technical. I just can't win everything, on heart, So, that's been a big thing in my layoff, is sharpening the tools, man, or getting better at stuff. So, lots of individual, my boxing and jiu-jitsu specifically, those are things I feel like I've probably sharpened a little bit better to help, put it all together. So at the scrimmage, they do have an MMA rules division, so I'm going to do that. And then if that goes well, if all this is good, and I feel good to keep going, then we'll talk about an actual, fight after that and see what's next.
Good. Yeah. I think, first off, seeing Thor around the gym, that like, he lights up the room.
Yeah.
Like when we're coming in, passing, crossing paths, jiu-jitsu going in and striking, and then he comes over with that big old smile and, just a big hug. And it's like, there's an energy there. So I'm glad that he's back. And like you said, it's like having that coach that just knows you, and it's not a knock on anyone else, but it's like, it's just, there's a comfort there. There's an understanding. So I'm glad that that's working out for you.
Yeah, it's been good because, like I said, I don't feel the pressure of, oh man, coach is coming down on me. I suck. I'm not doing this. It's, my buddy giving me constructive criticism, which I'm more, open to, I guess,
Yeah, definitely. And, again, having someone that and that knows your game and just knows your style, there never, seems like there's a feeling of, he's trying to change me or, they don't have my, best interests at heart. It's like he sees something, and like you said, it's constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
he texted me today, man, and he was like, hey, man, we're going to do this. And he's like, I don't care if you get floored or knocked out. I'm in your corner no matter what, bro. And, that's the part I need. That's what I need, bro. Like, because things aren't always going to go my way. Things haven't gone my way, recently. And, I'm willing to keep trying. And as long as somebody else is willing to keep pushing me and help me try, then, I'm good to go.
There's one thing, with you, and I always appreciate this, with you as a fighter, win or lose, you come out, you see us out there, and you're like, you come to all of us, and, you're like, yo, thanks for coming out. After a win, it's like, thanks for the support, thanks for, being here. And then, after a loss, it's, you're still the same, it's like, thanks for the support, thanks for being here, and there was one of the fights you had said to us afterward, you're like, I'm sorry I let you guys down. And I was like, damn, dog, you did not let any of us down, man. Like, you went out there, you fought your fucking heart out, yo. Like, because as a fan, as a friend, seeing it, it's like, you getting out there fighting and just putting it all out there. that's amazing, versus like you go out there and like, you're scared, you're running. It's like, oh no.
Oh,
No,
yeah, I'm
don't
all
do
in.
that.
I'll meet him head on, and whoever, that's the whole reason I got into this. Like, I feel like there's no better test of a person as a human being than, like, again, someone on you guys had the same circumstances. You go in that cage, you're going to see who's going to come out on top. And it's not always me, but that's okay. That just motivates me to, like, I was not the better man this time. I want to be the better man, so I'm going to work towards it,
Yeah, I mean, that's important to know. It's like, I know I can get there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go back to the shop and work, and put in that work. And you do that every time, dude. It's like every time. It's like after a win, it's not like, all right, let's get complacent. It's like, all right, get back to work. After a loss, it's not like let's pity ourselves. Just get back to work. And that shit's admirable, dude. Like I love seeing it. And I always say this whenever I talk about, especially talking about like those early days at out in Arnold at the old Ivy League. It's like, you were one of the like people that I loved rolling with, because it was just like, all right, I know we're gonna clash heads here, and I'm not gonna come out like the victor here, but I know that just like rolling with you is one of those things where it's like there's like this. It's like what was it, Heathcliff? Watching the old Heathcliff cartoons, you see the pile of dust,
the little cloud, and you see claws and fur everywhere.
That's how I always like saw our roles. It was just like we're just like scrambling, and it's like okay, and then we get each other's like, okay, there's some technique here. All right, but now we got to hustle out. And that's what I always see with you, is like you're always hustling. You're always moving forward, dude. And that shit is so special. So, I'm glad to see that, you're making those moves back and getting that hustle back in you, man. Because that's,
Like I said, this is the test. This is my first time, trying to train, get back to a full-time training schedule while being a parent and work a full-time job. I know people have done it, but it's not easy. So, and then, there's just, life, I've had a lot of ups and downs in life, that have, kind of, I've tried not to, dwell on it too long, but some of it's affected me, made me, a better person. I've like learned from it, or, had to, step back and reevaluate everything. But I no matter what, I can't, stop. In some shape, form, or fashion, I'm always going to be doing something related to, competition, martial arts, pushing myself. That's never going to change.
Hey, man. And if it did, it'd be weird to see it. So, like, never change, man. Always be who you is, because if I see you one day and it's like, hey, Joe, what's going on, man? He's like, yeah, I mean, none, man. I'm going to my job on Wall Street, right? And I was like, what the fuck?
Nah, bro, I can't. Nah.
I honestly, if I heard those words come out of your mouth, I would probably immediately think, man, I wish I had telekinesis, because I'd throw this dude right into the room. like, no, not that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's not knocking folks that work on Wall Street or whatever. Like, do your thing.
No, dude, I would love Wall Street money right now, but I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be happy. I just, I gotta be happy doing what I do. And, I'm not a money motivated person. I think that helps out a lot. So, obviously I gotta survive. I gotta eat. I gotta provide for my family and, do that. But, I'm okay with just being comfortable. I don't need the ball out. I just need to train.
Yeah, I think that's one of those very important factors in all of that too. Is like, there's so many people that look at this like, in older generations more so than anything, it's like if you're doing something like, well, you're not making this much money, or you're not doing this. It's like, well, no, I'm making money. I'm just not making money the way you want me to make money. Trust me.
I got a roof over my head. I got food in my belly. My daughter has clothes and milk. I'm good.
Yeah. It's like, it ain't got to be the way that you guys did it, but I'm doing it, and everybody's happy. So back up off me, son, before you get smacked. But sorry, I just stepped out of character there for a second.
Like, Trey came out a little bit.
let me settle down, man. I'm getting too comfortable. But nah, man, just keep doing what you do, and as always, support. From here. Like, anytime I see something's going on, it's like, yeah, definitely want to be there. Definitely want to, be in attendance. Like, let people know, promote it, whatever it may be. But I'm happy for you, man. I'm proud of you, and just like as a friend, this is good stuff. Seeing you be you. So
Yeah, dude, I was what, a 22, 23-year-old kid when we first met and just trying to figure it out. Now I'm in my mid 30s, early 30s, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I think that's the crazy thing too. When I look at like, what I'm coming up on, I guess 11 years maybe. What year are we in? 25. So
Yeah.
I started. About April of 15. So
It's something, I know we're wrapping up, but I always run into some, like I see Joe Cacciano all the time. I'm like, bro, I've known people for years, and it's funny when I run into them. I'm like, bro, it's like some things just don't change.
Actually, Mark just made a suggestion the other day about getting folks from like the old gym together and just doing an episode. And I was like, I'm in for it. Just I gotta figure out the logistics, because it's like it's either I don't know. I want to figure it out though. I want to figure out, because I always say a big factor in me sticking around and training was when you saw I had on a Spider-Man shirt. He came over, was like, "Yo," and then we started talking. I was like, immediately was like, "This is home. I will train here. Whatever I got to do. I'm going to stay here because this feels like home." Number one, like first off, comic books nerds, so that was already it. And like you were instrumental in that, those early encounters. It was like you, Chrissy, Thor. Those were very instrumental things for me to think, okay, I think I belong here. I want to stay here. So, thanks
glad
for
you did.
that.
It grew into, all of this, man. I feel like you're one of the, for, everybody that's kind of gone their separate ways or moved on. I feel like, this podcast or, our competitions or, whatever, just your support and your, you'll share and you'll post or you'll let the word out. It's helped keep us, connected at some point,
Yeah. I mean, like all I ever want to do, when it comes to like, all of this is like, I want to see my team do well. I want to see my friends do well. And, I just want, like, whether you're like, doing well means starting a family, because like seeing Mahoney and his family growing
his little tribe.
like seeing you now in the family business now, and it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. Because like you said, like we're going back now, like a decade, coming up on more than a decade. And it's like, damn, we were kids. Now we adults. So it's just fucking awesome to see that. And whenever I see that kind of shit, I just want to, shout it from the rooftop, yo, these are my people. They're fucking great. So, hey, I love it. Normally I have a rapid fire and all these questions. I'm looking over here at the thing and it's, the questions are weird. So I'm gonna save that, because like I said, I'm gonna try to get something together with like a group episode. I'm thinking, because I have Leif coming up soon.
Bet.
I'm just trying to fill people out. I know, like Mark has been like part of the podcast since the very first episode. So whenever he throws an idea, it's like, well, if you throw the idea, you got to be there. So just keep that in mind. So don't give me an idea and then say you can't do it.
We'll get the whole little, the Brady Bunch squares going. Everybody will be in on the.
So, but yeah, I'll construct some better questions in a more organized way and get this group episode rolling. We're coming up on 300, so that's what I'm looking at. Like,
because wasn't I on 200?
Yes, you're on 200. So I'm thinking 300. Actually, I might do 300 where it is a group, like a bigger group, remotely. So that way, it's just a matter of my concern is always microphones and equipment on the other end, because I can't control that. But if we're all in person, I know my microphones are here, my microphones sound a certain way. So we'll figure it out, but I definitely want to make something happen. But Joe, with all that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. And thank you for just sitting down, chatting, keeping us in the loop on what's going on, and congrats.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I always love, doing this. Appreciate you. It's almost a form of therapy to me, just to say some of these things out. There's a lot of things I talk about on these podcasts that I've never verbalized before, thoughts in my head that I've never been able to express, or never thought to express.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell people, for me, this is therapy. I used to go to therapy every week. I go once a month still because you got to talk to a trained professional.
Yeah.
But I record a lot. This is my third recording since Friday.
Nice.
And I still got 2 more today. So this shit is therapy for a lot of us. So I'm glad you're able to, again, get on here and really open up and talk. And I'm looking forward to having you back on. I say that a lot, especially around the gym. It's like I gotta have you guys on more and more, and then next thing you know, it's a year and a half, and it's like, well, fuck. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely work out a group thing and get the team together. But before we wrap up and get out, shout outs, mentions, anything you want to leave our listeners with today.
Nothing crazy, man. You know me, I'm always, repping the people who help me. So, you got my gyms. Come check me out at 45 Annapolis Harbor, Mayweather Boxing, Bowie, Maryland, John's Fit Mills. I still, eat with them, rock with them, especially going forward. I'm going to start relying on them heavily as I start to try and lose some of this dad weight, clean up my eating a little bit. That's about it. You guys know where to find me. Average Joe on Instagram, Joe Huggins on Facebook. I don't really use Twitter like that, but I'm on there. Annapolis, come hit me up.
All right. I'll be sure to put the links and everything in the show notes. And same, I'm on Twitter, but I don't even know how to use it. So
yeah, I haven't tweeted since 2010.
I'm probably getting tweets right now talking about fuck you, your show is dumb. And I'm like, I don't even know how to use this. So
yeah, I don't even know who you are. Hit him with the Thanos.
Just hit him with the rudeness. All right. And as always, to you all, the listeners, thank you. If you have any questions, concerns, criticisms, anything, feel free to reach out. You can always find me at bjj.wiki on Instagram or Off the Mats Podcast as well on Instagram. I want to give a big shout out to my crew at Nerd Rage Radio. I actually had the mug. I was drinking out of it this morning with all the names of everybody there that I try to shout out, but I forget the names because there's so many. It's like the Wu-Tang over there. But Bobby, Chris, Joe, Maryland Phil, which Joe and Maryland Phil were actually just here last night recording a horror podcast with me. So big shout out to them, especially Farrell, Ricky Takey, Chucky O, all of them, Raul the Machine, all those guys over there. Shout out to Nerd Rage Radio. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing a podcast. So thank you to those guys, and we love them. I want to also shout out my horror podcast. So you like horror? If you're into scary stuff, go check it out. Joe and I were just talking about it. The next upcoming episode will be the Alien Earth review done by Maryland Phil and Chucky O. Oh shit, I just mentioned him from Nerd Rage Radio. See, look at that. It's all in the family here. It's all in the family. But go check that out. So you like horror on Instagram, all the words separated by underscores, and the podcast is anywhere you can find a podcast. We are there. And this next episode, we'll be talking about Alien Earth, a review of that season. We just did, what just dropped? Sleepy Hollow just dropped last week. So if you all remember that Tim Burton movie from 99 with Johnny Depp, go check it out. We shit all over Tim Burton because we don't really like him, but that movie is great. He nailed 3 things: Batman Returns, and Sleepy Hollow. All that Scissorhands shit is weird. So we don't do that here. But yeah, go check it out. What's that?
Beetlejuice, man, come on.
I tried, man. It ain't my speed, man. I can't get into Beetlejuice. I can't get into Edward Scissorhands, Nightmare Before Christmas. I can rock that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm just not crazy about Tim Burton. And we let y'all know in that Sleepy Hollow episode over on So You Like Horror, so go check it out. Unless you're a Tim Burton fan, don't listen. Because we got rude. And last but not least, I want to thank my guest here today and friend and teammate, Mr. Joseph Huggins. Thank you for doing this, man. Thank you for just opening up and sharing with us. And just thanks for just being here, man. Love having you on the show and can't wait to do it again, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And again, you guys listeners, thank you. We love you. You know what it is. You guys keep listening, and we're going to definitely keep making these shows. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.
Deep with it. Now let me sing a song.
Oh, shit. What did I do here?
Uh-oh. We're going to edit this part out.
Yeah, I don't know where the screen is. You're here, but I can't find the screen anymore.